Fat loss is the most challenging health goal that I help people with. It's not impossible though, but if I'm being really honest, the fat loss is the easy part. Maintaining that fat loss is the hardest part. In this video, I'm going to give you the skills and the know-how on how to maintain this fat loss. From mindset to appetite regulation hacks, I'm going to help you maintain this fat loss for life. The concept that you must first understand is that the brain is in control of fat loss. It is always sensing how much energy is stored on the body. And if the messages that are coming from the body and that are interpreted by the brain are saying that there is not enough body fat there, then the body is going to do everything in its power to eat more and store more. The first effect that I'm going to go through is what we call the anti-buffet effect. What it is the brain is always looking around for new nutrients, new foods. This is generally an important survival concept. But if we've got a buffet of very palatable foods or yummy foods, then the brain is going to use this effect to eat every single one of them. Like the example of where you can grow a second stomach, as we say, to fit in dessert. You're already full with the main, but you saw the ice cream and went, oh yeah, I could fit that in. You haven't got a bigger stomach. The brain has changed your fullness messages so you could fit the ice cream in. If we flip this around and we make food a little on the more plainer side, let's say, so where the flavors are simple, there's no second meal after with a different taste profile. What happens there is the body goes, that steak was good. That carbohydrate portion over there, which was potato, I've had enough of that. So essentially a little bit of palate or taste fatigue occurs, and the brain interprets this as that it's got enough variety of nutrition and it will cut your appetite out. Perfect. So if you want to be able to maintain a low caloric intake so you're not rebounding your weight, this is a really important aspect to understand. So make your food a little bit plainer. It doesn't have to be like dull and boring. Of course, you can do that. It works even better. But to have an enjoyment of food still, basically make your flavor profiles simple. So if that example, steak, potato, side of vegetables, I might have put some olive oil and lemon and salt dressing on that. That was it. It was really nice, but it wasn't too complex. It didn't have dessert after, so I didn't overconsume more calories. Now, appetite is also regulated by stress. Let's say the body is interpreting at the moment that you have enough body fat on your body in terms of a survival kind of concept. Because what we need to understand here is that body fat is crucial to survive a famine. Now, I know famines don't happen in our westernized societies anymore, but for the majority of our evolution, they happened all the time. And we were experts at surviving them. If, for instance, you're under a lot of stress, we have a fairly primitive stress messaging and mechanisms within the body. It's either something is trying to harm us or we're running out of food. Is essentially the messaging we get when we have more cortisol or stress hormone from the adrenal glands flood into our body. We can have cortisol nowadays flooding into our body if we're about to bounce on our phone bill, our car gets hit by a rock. These aren't survival problems to a human being, but they seem like that to us in modern day. So we'll release loads of cortisol. Now with that primitive messaging, what happens here is you crave more food. Your body's trying to protect you from the stresses of a potential famine. Antidote to this is if you can find any way to lower your stress levels, like adequate exercise or the ability to act out physically some of your stress hormones, getting out in nature, spending time with loved ones, etc. It's in your best interest. The lower the stress hormone cortisol, the lower your appetite, and the more correct the messaging from the body to the brain is on how much energy is stored on your body. Now, closely tied to this is the aspect of sleep. If you're underslept, and that would be for an average adult, an adult sleeping only 6 or 4 hours per night. If that's occurring, the body thinks something's wrong. It's not getting adequate rest. You must be needing to only sleep that much because of a stressful event. So it'll release more cortisol. And then, as we know before, More cortisol means more appetite, means more food consumed and more storage of body fat. There's also something that's quite profound around a lack of sleep. Generally, fitters with blood sugar a lot more than, let's say, a general stress would. So if you lack sleep, you have more fluctuations in blood sugar. And a lot of us will find that we eat loads of more sugary treats as well as more volume of food. So it's really important that you get adequate sleep. If you get adequate sleep, that appetite reduces, those sugar cravings produce more stable blood sugars. Therefore, you will be consuming less food, less body fat. Now, hormones can get in the way of the messaging to the brain around if you've got enough body fat stored on your body. The primary one here that we find is thyroid hormone. So let's say you have low thyroid hormone levels in your body. This is nothing to do with, let's say you have enough body fat stored on the body. It's more the fact that your metabolism is slowing down. So therefore, it's harder for you to burn. So it's like the brain might be sending you messages to eat less because you've got enough body fat stored on your body, but you can't burn it because you have such a low metabolism, because thyroid is essentially the accelerator, or thyroid hormone is the accelerator on your metabolism. If you haven't got enough thyroid hormone, the accelerator is not depressed enough and you're going too slowly. There's also a flip side to this. If you've gone through a weight loss journey and you've done it really, really restrictively, what happens here is your body goes, oh boy, I need to protect myself because I'm losing a lot of my energy storage. And if a famine comes along, I'm stuffed. So what happens there is the brain then gets involved and starts going, I should suppress thyroid hormone levels, aka metabolism, and burn less energy to make sure I don't lose too much of my energy stores. This is a huge problem. It's bloody annoying to a lot of my patients due to the fact that they're trying to get down to healthier body fat levels, but the brain and the hormonal networks within the body via the thyroid are telling it your metabolism to slow down. What that equals is essentially you're not losing body fat at all. As I go through the video, I'll give you some more concepts on how to prevent this as a problem. They'll be linked together. But to give you a small clue here is basically you need to tell the body that there's less stress. So those previous concepts are also really important here. So sleep well, reduce your stress, and then also look at fat loss as something that's a little bit more gradual and less threatening to the body. If you do that and you get the body used to it, then there's less thyroid hormone that's going to go down, or the instruction from the brain to suppress thyroid function, aka metabolism, there's less of that messaging. Exercise. Now, the exercise that I'm going to go through here is a little different. It's essentially the form of exercise we do all day long that is burning calories. I like to give it the nickname fidgeting. Lots of studies have been done where you've got someone that is essentially, let's say, overweight, so carrying too much energy or fat on their body, and then you have a leaner individual. Now, some of the difference between these two people is that this person, the leaner one, fidgets a lot. And this person over here conserves lots of energy and does not. The difference between these two scenarios could be hundreds and hundreds of calories burned per day. So rather than exercise like a jog here and a jog there, which doesn't burn that much calories, you could basically eat a Mars bar and that is more calories than those two jogs as an example. But that Mars bar that you consumed compared to the fidgeting you did all day long, tapping your knee, moving around in your seat, scratching your head here, that burns so much more calories and will outburn that Mars bar as an example. So I try to teach this a lot to my patients is basically, move your body around. I also encourage them to do it for other reasons. If you're just sitting down stationary all the time, generally we're stiff and sore. We have poor circulation. So moving around in your chair if you're in a desk job, or if, for instance, you have the ability to sit and stand in your office, or you're in a job where walking is very much a part of it, but you can add more walking. So instead of the lift, the stairs, instead of standing still and writing on your reports, let's say if you're in a hospital as a nurse, dance around a little, tap your feet, you'll be surprised at how much energy that burns per day. Environmental influences. Now, there's a bit of a mix of mindset here as well as just practicalities of your environment. I'll give you an example. A person in Mongolia riding around on a horse is not thinking about a Mars bar because they don't exist there. So they're not craving it. But if I'm, let's say, a Westerner in Australia or the US, the UK, I've got Mars bars bloody everywhere. They're at the servo, they're at my grocery shops, they're always in my face. So the place you have control over is not Woolworths or Coles or your local grocery store. It's your own house. If you can get all of the confectionery, the snacks, the excessive big, massive fruit bowl you don't need to be eating, as well as all the little biscuits, etc., out of the house, you don't have to say, no, I can't eat those. And you don't need to be thinking about them at all because they're not even in your house. So that would be step number one. The other one is looking at it as more of a mindset sort of thing. If I'm going into an environment where I might be cued to eat something, you want to look at it as I've come into those situations with a game plan. I'm either going to eat prior or I'm going to have a plan of what I'm going to eat at these places so that you don't get tempted to eat those foods. And the mindset aspect of this is that you're a human being. Your brain knows where yummy foods filled with calories are that, help you survive a hypothetical famine. So it's really hard not to eat them. If you come from that perspective, you don't have to come with the guilt of that I crave things and all of that loop that goes around in your brain. Just go, I'm a human being. I'm probably going to get triggered there. What strategies can I use to stop that from happening? And I've given you those examples already. So change the environment in your home, have a game plan before you go to social events or other people's places, or even shops, cafes, or eat before. If you know that the food options there aren't going to be the best, go there and have fun socializing with people and not indulging in eating. Now, the last one that I'm going to go through is probably the hardest, to be honest. The brain is very conservative on how much energy it wants to lose, which I've also mentioned. So it likes to do plateaus, likes to basically go, oh, you've lost 10 kilos. Just going to hang out at 95 kilos here from 105 because anything below that is a bit risky to the body. So what we've got to do here is go, okay, that plateau is going to happen and I'm going to go down to 95 kilos. And let's say 95 kilos in this example is your ideal weight. It's very healthy, you have great organ function, et cetera, but it's really hard to sustain. You're always trying to go back up to that 105 mark. But if you stay there long enough, essentially the brain feels that it's a safe weight to be at, recalibrates itself, and it kind of goes, oh, wait a minute, 95 kilos, you still have 30% of body fat on you. That's tons of calories to survive a famine. I'm going to be totally fine. But it doesn't realize that when it's been at higher weights, kind of the brain is recalibrated at all 105 kilos. So you need to get it used to it. And it's just a matter of time. So for some of my patients that have been in the obese category, this is a really long period of time. But let's say the more average of us in terms of the overweight categories, you need to be there for many, many months. And then all of a sudden you start to find it easier and easier per month to maintain that 95 kilos. But that first 3 months is bloody hard. So you need to kind of stay there and then the brain gets used to it. And then things become normal. This is a lot of times when we're, let's say, learning a new skill or let's say an instrument. It's bloody hard at start. And then all of a sudden it's like I'm riding a bike. Very, very similar to weight loss. Now, I hope you found all of those skills and know-how that I've learned over many years of practice really, really helpful. Start with 1, 2, 3, or you'll do all 7 of the topics I went through today. If you'd like more information on your health, complete our health questionnaire down below. Really insightful, gives you a personalized report to get you started on improving your health. If you would like more expert advice, click the other link below and get to know what Fusion Health can offer you to enhance your health to new heights. Now, if you want to know more information around another health topic, just click up here and watch the next video.